David so savage. Back at it again. The reason why I took a break off is I was busy. Okay, 2 days ago I was busy, and I recognized the last video I made wasn't doing so good, so I'm making another one. Not just for me, but for us, for y'all. Young Don the Stars got my first school brawl. My first school brawl. This isn't my first, but shoot. I remember my first school brawl. Wait, never had none.
Fight. So I was like, yeah.
What the hell? There.
What are we still doing here? So we hop in his whip and we head over to the venue for the fade. We pull up and lo and behold, both of the groups that I tried to avoid were there. In fact, they were the ones who were fighting. At the end of today's video, I'll be giving away 3 $100 Amazon gift cards and 3 signed posters. Stay tuned. So this story takes place back in high school here in the good old US of A. It was my second year of living here in the States, and by this time I was fully Americanized. I knew how to dress, I knew how to talk, I got my first girlfriend, I was on the varsity basketball team. I was here, okay? I made it. I also knew all the social cliques that made high school society what it was. I figured out where I fit in, which of course was with the basketball players. I also learned what groups to stay away from. 2 in particular stood out. The first group had clear red flags, the most obvious of course being the ones they wore in their belt. You know this group. Camel pants, trucker hats, parents probably didn't vote for Obama. You get the picture. That was
The rednecks.
The first group I learned to avoid. The second was a little more subtle. These guys I could accidentally get myself in trouble with because they were black. You know what I'm saying? Like they looked like me, which is always deceiving. They're my people. But I assure you, I had very little in common with these brothers. They puffed organic leaf inhalers in the bathroom, sagged their pants to the floor, wore grills to school. A lot of them were tatted as These were the kind of black guys that made middle-aged white women nervous. Now, I avoided these dudes as well, not because I was
the type of niggas that actually will make a lot of people so freaking scared when they see them around there.
Scared of them or anything like that. In fact, hood niggas are hilarious, my G. But these fools were always in trouble with the teachers, school security, the cops. Like, I'm Jamaican, my G. I'm here on a green card, okay? I wasn't trying to get my ass dumped.
Yo, the funny thing is, I used to be with a green card too when I came from England and back. I used to be with a green card.
Hoarded by messing with these thug-ass cats. So, yeah, left that alone. Anyway, one day my boy AJ comes to me after school and is like, yo, you want to go see a fight? So I was like, yeah. What are we still doing here? So we hop in his whip and we head over to the venue for the fade. We pull up and lo and behold, both of the groups that I tried to avoid were there. In fact, they were the ones who were fighting. Apparently during lunch that day, one of the whites and one of the blacks had some friction. The white guy probably called the black guy a monkey. The black guy probably said something about the white guy kissing his sister. Whatever it was, things were said and now a fade had to be ran. And a part of me was sad, man, because this scene
someone gotta get faded.
Showed me that toxic racial tension was still very much alive and well, even in the middle class community that I lived in, even among the younger generations. On the other hand, a much larger part of me was very excited because I wanted to see how this shit was gonna play out. I mean, Fuck history class, I got that shit right here, dog. So I, as well as the dozens of other students who heard about the fight, circled around the whites and the blacks as they prepared to run the fade. I, however, made sure not to stand too close, seeing that my skin color doubled as a team jersey in this situation, and I didn't want to get involved in this little race war. Although, to be honest, I wasn't too worried, seeing that my team was clearly the A side. I mean, let's be honest, right? There's a reason why blacks dominate most of the professional sports.
You know what? It comes to a conclusion that you say what you want, but it is basically true. Look at it this way. At least we don't dominate hockey.
But still, kept my distance. And then it
And baseball, we don't dominate that. I don't think.
happened. Somebody pulled the trigger to start off the brawl, and that trigger was a word that rhymed with trigger. And just like that, the brawl started, and I gotta be honest with you, man, it wasn't looking too good for the whites. I mean, the blacks just overwhelmed them offensively from the first quarter, putting the whites on the defensive pretty much for the entirety of the brawl. It was a complete massacre. I mean, the whites were just not ready. They did not prepare for the sheer firepower that the blacks had brought to the table. This one dude in particular, let's call him Rivers, single-handedly dropped 5 Confederates in quick succession. Bap, 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 bap. It was like watching the main character of an anime take on like the level 1 henchmen, like the ones that don't even have names. They're just the filler bad guys. It was vicious. Anyway, after about 5 minutes of this madness, somebody yelled those magic words. Yo! Somebody call the cops! And nothing gets a group of black guys' attention.
Somebody call the cops. Yo, somebody call the cops.
More than that. So the fade stops, but it was clear who won this round. AJ and I ran to the car because, as I said, I was wearing one of the team's jerseys. And we all know that the cops aren't exactly the biggest fans of this particular team. And then we left. We went home, and that was that. That was the first high school brawl I ever went to. Moral of the story: racism is stupid. Fighting solves nothing. And be careful of the people you associate yourself with, because trouble has a way of finding company among certain groups of people.
First, you gotta stop it right there. It's because I've been very busy this month, okay? Last video didn't do very great, said that already. And second of all, I'm back. So, comment if you like it, subscribe, and hit the bell for next upload.